Well, hello again, my mini Michelangelos. Well, let's get right into it because I'm very excited about today's drawing. Today, we're going to draw a picture of an otter. And what could be more fun than drawing a picture of one of nature's cutest animals, which is why I call this video Otter Joy. I was going to call it Break On Through to the Otter Side, but that seemed a little wordy. So I stuck with Otter Joy. And if you're in the mood to draw one of nature's cutest animals, well, you can join me. And we're going to start out by drawing very, very lightly, like we always do. And I'm going to draw a circle that's about the size of a tennis ball, about the size of your fist. Now, on my paper, it's going to look much larger because I've got a bigger paper. But on your paper, it's going to be about the size of your fist. And I'm going to draw it about halfway down, but I'm going to move it over to the side near the edge. But I want to leave a little bit of room because I'm going to put my otter's tail. So if you can imagine right about in the middle of this half of the paper, I'm going to draw a circle that's about the size of my fist. And I'm going to draw a little bit darker than I normally would, just so you can see it. But remember, if you can, try to draw lightly so that if you want to make a change, if you want to make it a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, well, you can do that easily. So go ahead and draw your circle. After I've done this, I'm going to draw another circle, but this time I'm going to put it up in the corner here. I'm going to leave myself maybe a little bit of room, maybe an inch or two on the top and an inch or two over here. And it's going to be about the same size as my first circle. Again, I'm going to draw it lightly so that if I want to make changes, I can. But as you can see, it's about the same size as my first circle. So go ahead and draw that when you're ready. Now, one of the things that I really like to emphasize with all of these drawings is that the most important thing is to draw lightly and to get the basic shape. If you get the basic shape and you draw things about where they're supposed to be, the details kind of take care of themselves. Most of the people do a good job with the details. It's getting those basic proportions. So I'm going to draw one more circle that's a little bit smaller than this circle. And what I'm drawing right now is the front of his body. And it's below the head, maybe a little bit off to the side, but pretty much below that larger circle, but slightly smaller. After I've done that, I'm going to lightly connect my small circle to the back circle. Again, I'm keeping these lines fairly light so I can always erase them because they're just guidelines at this point. Now that I have the basic shape of his body and his head, I'm going to give him some feet. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a straight line underneath his front shoulder and his back leg. And I'm going to make little oval shapes that are about the same size. And they're about as big as this front circle. But again, they're flattened out like little ovals. And I've made them a little bit flatter on the bottom. So go ahead and do his front foot and his back foot. And after you've done that, we're going to draw his tail, which is going to start right at the top of his body. And it's going to go almost to the edge of the paper, almost down to the bottom of the paper, and then about to the middle of his body. Once I get to the end of his tail, I'm going to start curling back, and his tail comes to pretty much a point, and it gradually gets a little bit bigger, and then a little bit bigger until it gets right to the bottom of that circle. Now my otter has got a head, a body, a tail, and 2 feet. Now it's time to start putting in some details. And I'm going to start with his back leg, and I'm going to go from the back of the foot about to maybe the bottom third of this circle, not really in the middle. All you want to do is just have it go up a little bit so that it connects to the leg. And then I'm going to go from the middle of his foot, and I'm going to go to the front of the circle, but instead of going to the top, once I get to about the halfway point of the circle, then I'm going to start curling over until it gets to maybe the center of the circle, maybe even a little bit closer to the back. And once I've done this, I can erase some of those circle guidelines that I don't need anymore, which is a good thing that I drew them lightly because now they're much easier to get rid of. I don't need that, and I don't need this, and I don't need this. I'm going to do the same thing to the front leg, although the shape is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to go from the back of his foot or his heel right up to his body and then up to the edge of the circle. I'm going to do the same thing with the front. This time I'm going to go to the middle of the foot, up to his body, and then to the front of the circle. And just like I did with his back leg, I'm going to erase this circle guideline that I don't need anymore. And again, it's a good thing that I drew lightly because now it's so easy to erase. Now the fun part, I'm going to start working on his face. And I'm going to give him little ears. All I have to do is draw two little semicircles. Not very big. Otters don't have very big ears. Not like a bear or a monkey or a dog. They're just little ears. But his eyes I'm going to make nice and big. Now, sometimes when people draw faces, whether it's animals or people, they have the tendency to want to draw the eyes up towards the top of the head. But we're going to put them right in the middle of the face, and they're going to be nice and big and round because that's going to make our otter look even cuter. But as you can see, they're about halfway down the head. They're not near the top. They're about in the middle of the face. He's going to look much cuter if his eyes are nice and big and they're lower in the head, about the middle of his face. After I've done the eyes, I'm going to draw his nose, which is about as wide as the eye, but it's squashed down like a little oval. And of course, he needs a little smile. So I'm going to draw a line coming down, and part of his smile curls this way, and part of his smile curls this way. I'll add a few more details. I'm going to go from his nose right to the edge of his face. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And if you want to, you can even make his cheeks look a little bit wider. You don't have to, this is optional, but you may find that it might make your otter look a little bit cuter if he's got nice big wide cheeks. And now we can add more details to make our drawing look even better. I'm going to give him a simple curve for some eyebrows. Maybe draw a line in the ears to show the inside of the ear. I'm going to put a little circle here in the corner and then color in his nose and his eyes. But that little circle gives a little bit of a shine, a little bit of a twinkle in his eye, and a little bit of a reflection on the tip of his nose. Maybe I'll draw one or two or three little lines to show some whiskers. A line to connect his head to his body. Maybe a line, a jagged line to show the fur on his belly is a slightly different color. I'm going to put just two little curved lines to show his toes. And then to add a little bit of depth to my picture, I'm going to draw not only the foot that you can see that's closest to us, but also the foot that's farther away. So all I have to do is draw another straight line that's a little bit farther, and then make this shape that is similar to this foot. And just like that, he has a foot that is close to us and a foot that's on the other side of his body. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And now my otter has got the foot that is closest to us and the feet that are farther away. So it looks like he has 4 legs instead of just 2. And at this point, all our otter needs is a little bit of color. Now, when I'm adding color to a picture like this, the first thing that I like to do is to go over all of my pencil lines with a black marker or a black color pencil or even a black crayon. I find that it gives my picture a lot more pop, a lot more clarity, especially when I add color to it. But you should color your picture any way that you want to. Now I'm going to take my colors and I'm going to add some color to my otter picture, and you go ahead and get your colors out and add color to your picture as well. Well, there's my otter drawing in full color. I hope that you had as much fun working on your picture as I had working on mine. I look forward to seeing your drawings. I look forward to our next project that we work on together. And until then, stay creative, stay safe, stay cougar strong. We'll see you again soon.